Hello and welcome to this video. The purpose of this video report is purely to highlight an example cost structure of a traditional business or a traditional franchise to give you some idea of the types of costs that a bricks and mortar business often brings. People often think that by having a bricks and mortars traditional type business it's going to give them security. That is not the case. Go and look up the statistics for failure rates of businesses in the UK and it is absolutely staggering. It changes all the time, so I'm not going to quote examples here, but look the stats up, you'll be horrified. There is a far better way. However, the purpose of this is to give you an idea of some of the costs that you could incur. So, right now, don't buy a traditional business or a traditional franchise without considering carefully the cost structure that your proposed purchase brings about. The big question you've got to ask yourself is, how much money do you require? How much is required to set that business up and get it going? How much working capital is required? So, a traditional business or franchise could set you back any amount of money, from say £10,000, $20,000 to literally millions, and anywhere in between. I recently saw a business advertised where it said the earning potential was $60,000 a year, but the investment required to buy that business was $50,000 a year. Now for me that sounds a lopsided transaction. Now, that's a massive investment to make if you're only going to make $60,000 a year. But I accept that $60,000 a year is almost double the national average salary, but it's still a massive investment. Here's just a quick example of my failed business, and I'm just showing you some of these sort of screenshots as a way of showing you what can go in. I mean, to start with, I was running a business. It was a competitive prize draw company. It was similar to the company that you see in many of the airports whereby you could buy a ticket for a competition where you could maybe win a car or something like that. We done it for cars and other things like shopping sprees. So I had to have an expensive website. The website cost me a fortune. I had to put deposits on cars, and we started to run our first competition was for a Mini Cooper S. That car cost me £18,000 and we used it to promote the business initially. Here's an example of some of the competitions we ran. We ran a shopping spree where you could win £1,000. We ran a competition for a Mini Cooper convertible and also a Mini Cooper S. And there's just an example, one of the tickets in full. It was based on a spot the bull competition, so we had to have proper adjudicators and auditors tied up into it to make sure it was done reasonably and rationally and legally. There's all the legal framework to be considered. And here's two competitions that we actually successfully completed, the FA Cup final and also Euro 2004 tickets. And here's the car, one of the cars we actually bought, this £17,000 worth of car. That one we used as our demonstrator, just took it to various shows and had it driven around to sort of help promote the business. So what you're getting there is just a flavour of, you can put a lot of effort in, a lot of money. I spent approximately £100,000 on that business and I didn't get a return at the end of the day. What I'm showing you here in a minute is a cost structure of any business, just to get your mind thinking, and then I think once you've been through this you'll realise why some of the home-based businesses about are much more favourable, providing that you've done your due diligence. So make sure you look at the other videos in the sequence. So now let's look at some of the cost structures. So let's take a cheaper example than my own business at 100k, and a cheaper one than the one we saw advertised for 50k. So let's say the business you say the setup cost legal costs you £15,000. You're going to have to probably put some fixtures, fittings, equipment and buy stock. £10,000. Then you're going to need working capital, and this is the bit often people forget. They need a kitty. Let's keep it simple. They need a kitty, a working fund, to help them move along before they start making money, and that's called the working capital. So here, for example, it's cost us £30,000 to get going. However, let's say the working capital is 50. Instead of 5, it immediately pushes your investment up to 40,000. Now let's look at our projection, our profit, where we think we're going to do sales of £250,000. The cost of those sales, for this example, is £150,000, so we make what is known as gross profit, £100,000 or 40%. But the business I was in, the gross profit was only 10%. So what is the gross profit for your business? You need to understand these questions. And then you've got variable costs. So let's say distribution at 5% is one of our variable costs. That's £12,500. And then we've got marketing at 10,000. So we've got variable costs of £22,500. Then we have some fixed costs like rent and rates, £10,000. That's probably cheap for most properties. Utility costs, electricity, your burning and telephones, printing and stationery, accounting services, staff, maybe you need some staff. So total costs there are £35,000. So if we put that into a profit summary, we've got our sales, £250,000, followed by our direct profit, £100,000, our variable costs, our fixed costs, our total costs being £57,000. So these are a net profit of £42,000. You probably think, wow, that's good. But we haven't put your salary in there yet, so we've got to take your salary out of there. And also I assume that there are no finance costs. So the investment that you had to put in the business, that £40,000, where did it come from? Did you have to lend that? There could be a cost of finance, or there might be some goodwill if you purchase an existing business. So all I'm saying is a lot of costs to be covered before you even start making a profit in a traditional business or a traditional franchise. And one of the things I would say, I went and saw a long time ago a guy that was selling digital products, very successful guy. He showed me his accounts, and his company, he'd set it up as a company, it made £750,000 in a year. Phenomenal. That was a similar amount of money to the business that I had left was in when I was finance director. Yet we had sort of hundreds of staff and he had just 2. So what I'm saying is there are businesses that can make money far more profitably than a traditional business. So I'm not suggesting traditional businesses don't work, they do. However, it's vitally important that you understand that it's not a stroll in the park, that you do your due diligence and fully understand the cost structure. What I am suggesting therefore is that it's a much more viable and powerful model available to you as someone looking at a business opportunity, looking for a way to make money from home, than going out and buying a bricks and mortar. So there's a better alternative, in my opinion, to a traditional business and to a traditional franchise. So if we go back to that example where I said I saw a business advertised with an earning potential of £60,000 and an investment of £50,000, well, what about if instead of £50,000, $100,000 investment, or even a £10,000, $20,000 investment, what if you could invest in a powerful business for less than, say, £2,000 or $4,000? Yet, the earning potential far exceeded £100,000 per year. Now that has got to be a better equation, hasn't it? So investment is less than £2,000, yet the earning potential far exceeds £100,000. So the purpose of this video, going back to it, was just to give you an idea of some of the cost structures of a traditional business, and really to highlight that are, for the average person, better alternatives. Even with all my experience, I would never do a traditional business again, because I can now see the power of the online opportunities that are available to people. So, how much do you require to get your business idea going? And what is the risk? Do you need to have that loan secured against your house? What is the risk? And then go and look at what we've got to offer, because we believe we've got a viable alternative for you. I wish you every success in your endeavours.